Shabbat Shalom. What does it mean to be part of the Jewish people, part of Am Yisrael? Good question to ask because of what's going on in the world, but it's a good question to get answered by looking at this week's parsha, the first time the word Israel is ever used. How does that word come into existence? Is after Jacob is wrestling with this angel, and he's really wrestling with his own inner demons. He prevails against the Satan. He prevails against this angel that struggles with him throughout the night. And before he lets the angel go, he says, I'm not going to let you go unless you first give me a blessing. And what's the blessing that Jacob receives? You will no longer be called Yaakov, but rather Yisrael. Why? Kisarita im Elokim, because you fought against God, ve'im anashim, and with other people, vatuchal, and you prevailed. What it means to be a Jew, it seems, is to struggle, is to not simply believe in what we believe in, but to struggle with those beliefs until they're put into action in the world. See, it's not enough to simply live our lives as Jews. We have been called upon for a greater task, and that is to spread God's Torah and God's truth. Jacob is all about truth, but he doesn't get his name changed from Yaakov to Yisrael until he struggles with it and until he prevails on other people to be able to see it themselves. You know, what's interesting is that the gematria, the numerical equivalent for Yaakov, for Jacob, is 182. The gematria for Satan, these demonic forces, are 359. And if you add those two together, it comes out to 541, which is the gematria, the numerical equivalent of the Hebrew word Yisrael. You become an Israelite when you take Jacob and fight against the Satan. That is our job. And there's a lot of untruths and falsehoods and a lot of misleading statements that are running around the world about the Jewish people in the state of Israel. It is our job to combat them and to teach the world what it really means to be a Jew, which is to not only live a life of truth, but to teach it and inspire other people. And we can get very cynical with what's going on and say, hey, nobody wants to listen. They've got their minds made up. But lots of the people today who unfortunately have been bought into a false narrative about Israel, about Gaza, and about Hamas, we can convince them otherwise. That's why we're here, not simply to live our little lives in the corner, but to reflect God's light in the world as Hanukkah starts to approach, to bring light into an otherwise dark world, especially this time of the year where it gets dark so early. So let's be not only Yaakov, let's be Israelites by taking what we believe and what we know is true and not keeping it within us. Even if lots of other people have bought into some false narrative, it's our job to continue to speak the truth. When Yaakov confronts the Satan, we become Israelites. Shabbat Shalom.